It was lunch on Monday when I picked up my phone thinking it was like any other day. I'd just gotten back from my walk and I thought I'd take a look at social media. Except when I opened Facebook, the first post I saw stopped my scroll. It was the beginning of a real-life homeward bound for my friend Kacey Pierson, her family, and their 3 missing dogs. Welcome to Mind Game. If you are an animal lover, you might need a box of Kleenex for this episode, as we feel all the feels, the lows, and the highs of this journey. This is the story of the legacy of Chance and Remington and the search for Gunner, and a testament to the power of faith, hope, and the possibilities that unfold when a community comes together. As we dive into this extraordinary chain of events, we witness a family's unyielding love for their dogs, the kindness of strangers, and the faith that will lead Gunner back home. This is the story of Gunner, a golden retriever, and the resilience of the human spirit. This is Faith, Hope, and the Journey Home. Welcome to Mind Game, a podcast to level up your life. My name is Stephanie Painshow, and I'm excited for you to join me on a journey behind the scenes where we'll dig into the stories of resilience, mindset, and unlock the simple habits that will help you change the game. Before we dive in, I want to express our gratitude for your continued support. Your energy powers our quest to provide content that encourages you to unlock new levels of personal growth and step out of your own comfort zone. If you're inspired by an idea or have a suggestion for a future topic, connect with us at mindgamelevelupyourlife.com. Your feedback is a power-up that helps us continue on this epic adventure. So if you're ready to get out of your own way and explore what you didn't know you needed to know, you've come to the right place. So buckle up, open up your mind. It's time to level up. So welcome back to Mind Game, everyone. Today's episode features Kacey and the story of Gunner. And so what attracted me to this story was I opened up Facebook one day and there it was, a missing 3 dogs. And the dog lover, the pet lover in me was immediately drawn to that. And I just wanted to make it okay. And I wanted to be able to just reach out and give you a huge hug, because I know anyone who loves animals knows how hard that can be. And when they just disappear, you just want to know where they are and what's happening. So this is a story where you may need your box of Kleenex. So stick with us through this episode. It is going to be worth the wait, because this is a story of faith, hope, and bringing the community together and bringing out the kindness in everyone. So welcome, Kacey. I'm super excited to have you on Mind Game. I wish the topic was a little bit happier. We will have another conversation. Kacey has been an inspiration for me since we met probably a couple years ago at a convention. We crossed paths in the hallway. She was an amazing keynote presenter, and she talked about flipping her switch with fitness and inspired me to do the same. So I would love to have you back on to talk a little bit more about that. And Kacey is just one of the warmest, kindest, most inspiring people that you've met. You're always so kind and you're always encouraging us, all of us, whoever is starting on the fitness journey or anything. And I just really appreciate that. So thank you, Kacey, for joining. She is my friend that I've only met once, and we talk online, but that's I think just how our world goes. So I just wanted to share the story of amazing kindness with all of our Mind Game listeners. So thank you, Kacey.
Well, thank you. Thank you for having me. So yeah, I'll try to make it under 10 minutes. Let's do that. Okay. So we are animal lovers, actually. And I know a lot of people can relate that their dogs are legit family members. On November 27th, we actually have 4 dogs. We have a Shih Tzu,
right? Yes,
Coda.
Smaller one.
Not part of the story, but the other 3 are the other 3 characters. I like to say, if you've ever seen the movie Homeward Bound, we've always said, even before this had happened, they remind us, our other 3 dogs remind us of the movie Homeward Bound. Chance, who is the name in the movie, we have Chance, who was our rescue dog. He was actually dumped as a puppy at 10 weeks old, covered in ticks and hookworm, and he was completely just dumped, and we took him in. And at that time, my son, Roman, was about 8 years old. And when I say they had a special bond, and he's now my son's 13, but I cannot even put into words the bond. Yeah, that's a picture of Chance. Yes. The bond that Chance and Roman had. He knows that he was saved, by us. And he took to Roman, and he wanted to do nothing but protect Roman and play with him each day. And now that my son is, becoming a teenager, you could see even recently, Chance was like, wait a second, what are you doing? This 13-year-old,
Mhm.
I'm right here. So Chance was an amazing, amazing dog. Remington, next to him, is actually a golden retriever. He just turned a year old, and we actually have his father, Gunner, is our other golden retriever who just turned 3. There's Gunner. So father and son, golden retrievers, and Chance. On the early morning of November 27th, we actually live on some acreage, but they were used to going on our trails. And now looking back, no, we will not be letting, any dogs go on our trails without on a leash, but that's what they always did. And they love to go on the trails and swim in the creeks and with the boys and everything. We never thought, and our neighbors never thought that they would veer off where this highway is. So that morning we realized that the 3 of them had gotten out. My son Roman had to go to school. And so on the way home from school, my husband took him. My husband was driving southbound on the highway to come to our house, and out of his peripheral thought he saw Chance on the highway, on the side of the highway. So he thought there's no way. He did a U-turn and went back. And where they were on the highway, you couldn't really stop and get to them. It's very dangerous. But he was able to, he said he was almost hit by a car. He did get to Chance, realize it was Chance, and he was deceased. And then he glanced over the highway and saw what he thought was Gunner, deceased as well. He couldn't get across the highway to him, so I was not with him at that moment. But next thing I know, he had come back from taking my son to school, and he was in the kitchen and he just wasn't answering me. I'm like, come on, we got to go get in the Ranger and go find the dogs.
Mhm.
He wouldn't answer me. So finally I just start screaming, and he never even said the words. I just finally got it out of him. I was like, what? All 3? What? And he finally said, it's Chance and Gunner. And so I dropped to my knees, of course, and I'm like, I wanted to make sure they weren't suffering, right? I mean, we have to get to them, Dustin. He's like, it's too dangerous. I was like, so what I do? I called 911. I didn't know what else to do.
Yeah, that's where you
And
call.
yeah, and the Mansfield Police Department was amazing from the get-go. They came out and shut down the highway. They shut down the highway and let animal control and us get their bodies off the highway. So remember, okay, from this get-go, all I put on Facebook, I said, please pray, because I don't know what dog is missing or anything. Next thing I do is start putting out Remington pictures for these different neighborhoods. Please look for Remington, right? So it was about an hour and a half, and the animal control brought the bodies back to our house, and my husband did go confirm that it was, in fact, Remington, Gunner's son, that was deceased. So he told me that. And when I say I became physically ill. I was physically ill in my driveway to talk about the shock and grief. But I couldn't grieve because I had to go into find Gunner mode, right?
Yes.
Gunner's out there.
Yes.
And Gunner witnessed this. I knew this. His son physically sick, but I did not ever grieve yet, right? It was just full on, we got to find Gunner.
The
So
adrenaline
the
rush,
search
you're
was
just
on.
in full on search mode. And from the bottom of my heart to you and your family, we are so very sorry for the loss of those 2 amazing pets, because I know, having grown up around animals, the difference that they make to family members, and that special bond that you described. So from
Thank you so
Canada
much.
to Texas, sending you huge hugs. And I know you had amazing support from the community. And I know that, like you said, that adrenaline takes over, and that often causes that feeling. But you knew from the moment, and we saw the Facebook post a moment ago, that Gunner was still out there, and you just rolled right into that. And Facebook, I think in this case, social media was a good thing. So
It was. And you know what? From the get-go, I have to say, the first thing I did was, put it on all the sites and the paw boosts. There's so many out there.
yes.
And unfortunately, I do have to say, the first things I started witnessing were scammers that were reaching out to me saying, I have your dog. This dog would really kind of look like Gunner. And they were complete. I could not believe people would, it was like mind boggling. I'm like, really? I mean, at this moment, but that didn't last long. That was actually the first things I kind of witnessed from about 3 or 4 different scammers. After that, when I say it wasn't my doing it, yes, I posted to a few sites, but it was the community out of nowhere. When I say shared it and had thousands and thousands of people searching, people I do not know, have never met, are out searching searching day and night for a dog they've never met. And I'm like, what is going on? And I had to ask myself, would I be doing this? If it was. But hey, I was just so grateful and thankful and overwhelmed with the compassion and kindness from people. There was this one stranger. She said that she felt like God told her to do it, to go is what she said, to go. She didn't ask questions. She took her son and they searched the entire time, day in, day out with a drone. So everyone, the community, including the Mansfield Fire Department and shelter, we were on the hunt. I hired a dog scent tracker
Right.
because we did have one possible lead that was in the area, not really by the accident, but it was a lead. So we started there with the dog scent tracker. Sure enough, he says that he matched his scent. So that's where we really focused a lot with. We got some thermo drones and we had a search party.
Yes, I think I have a
We
picture of
thought
the
we saw
thermo
him
drone
on.
here.
So he came out. His name's Drew. He owns the company. He drove an hour away, 2 days in a row, would not accept any payment of any kind. He lived an hour away and brought his thermo drone. And in this video, I don't know if it's a video or picture.
This one's
but
just a picture for now. Yeah.
we thought it was Gunner, guys. So we thought we had him. We're like, oh my goodness, because he says in it that is a fat dog. That is not a coyote. That is. So everyone, it's pitch black, right? At the search party, my husband even almost, you follow where the drone is, which you saw the animal looking up at the drone and they're terrified. Well, the animal takes off running really fast. And unfortunately, the battery of the thermo drone has to come back, right?
Right.
So we ended up losing the sight of the animal. So he thought, the expert thought that you can chase him out of the area, which is not good. You want him to stay in that area. But we went ahead and set up some trail cams and traps with food and bait and my clothing. And so they say, yeah, if you have clothing, not freshly clean, but if you have clothing to leave out that dog scent is, they will run with that. So we were leaving that out everywhere as well. So let's fast forward to this was day 4 when we thought we saw him on the thermo drone. And it's freezing temps outside here in Texas even. It was 31 degrees. Thunderstorms were a couple of days, and Gunner won't even go outside when it's thundering. So here I am thinking, yes, my husband kept saying, Kacey, I bet someone has him at his house.
Yeah.
But here in my mindset, I had to do everything I could. I had to do everything I could, and that's how my mind works. I have to check it off. And yes, and pray and have faith. I was doing that all along. And I know I have been through a lot in my life where I know that God does work all things in the midst of all the storms. Storms can be blessings. I know he works every single little detail for good. And I've seen it. And so I knew that all along, that whatever he is working and I started seeing it with all these strangers and the compassion. I said, okay, it could just simply be for these people that maybe have never prayed to pray. And I've seen that countless times through this story. But whatever it was, I did have faith that not sure faith that Gunner was coming home. I had faith in God's plan, and I trust his plan, whether it makes sense to me or not. So talking about the mindset, that's what I had going through all this. Did I pray for a miracle? Yes. But if I also prayed at the same time and with my boys, guys, if it's not God's plan, we have to praise God for his plan, whether it's bringing him home or not, because God's at work through this. So,
and that's amazing that you were able to, because this is not a short lost and found story. This started on Monday. Was it Monday? And so you said fast forward to day 4. So we're Thursday or Friday there.
And we thought we had seen him. Yeah, come Friday, no sightings, right? And then Friday, we ended up moving the traps since we thought we chased him up the area. We moved some traps up. We were exhausted Friday night and we came home. And at that time, Mansfield Police Department, on their own doing, put up a post. And from that post, someone did comment and said, I think I saw this dog come out of these woods a couple days ago when it was thunderstorming. He was wet and he wouldn't come to me though. And it was a golden retriever, they said. So what do we do? Well, it's another sighting, yes. But I said, well, we have to go. We're out of traps, but let's go set up a kennel where this sighting was. So my husband's, I'm like, come on, Dustin. He's like, what? So we went up and set the kennel Friday night with some on the border fajitas that were door dashed from Dustin's sister who lives in Arkansas for us. We set out some steak fajitas, some of my pants, we left those out with a trail.
Yes.
And Saturday morning, other strangers who were following the story had seen that post and that it was a possible lead. So Saturday morning, early morning, what do? I pull up to this area and there's about a dozen strangers that don't know each other, that on their own,
Mhm.
in the own stirring of their hearts, were there to search and find Gunner that day. They even had stakes and signs they had paid for and brought. And I'm just like, well, so at the same
Mhm.
time, an expert had just told me to see if it is him. You need to have everyone else back away. No one else go look. Just you. If you can sing
Mhm.
quietly and just lay, not even like be standing up, just go to that area, sing quietly, call him calmly, and just sit down. If anything, lay on your stomach, they
Yeah.
said. And if you see him, you cannot make eye contact, they said, which is crazy.
Yeah.
I know, crazy. So I go out there and I videotaped myself singing quietly because I want to remember all this, right,
Yes.
and praying out loud
Yes.
for everyone to hear. God, please. All I was saying actually in this video was just please God, please God, please God. All the glory will go to you. If I thought, what if he comes out while I'm videoing this, right?
And
Well, it didn't
Kacey has an
happen. I
amazing
actually,
voice. If you heard the video, her voice is absolutely amazing, and I thought that
well,
that has to draw him in. I think that
oh,
you kept
thank
us all
you.
updated on the story as it was going, and I think you united people locally. I think you had people across the world, probably around the globe, because you have connections all over that were praying for you and sending positive thoughts your way and just wanting Gunner to come home, right? The police department had shared it. The video was picking up shares. On the screen here, I think I found I think this was maybe the one of the kennels that you set up or one of the traps that you had set.
Yeah. Yep. Yep. And so no, the traps never even caught Gunner, but absolutely. So well, I sat there and I sang but nothing happened. An hour later, my husband had gone around to the back of the woods through the trails and stuff. He had gone around to the back
Mhm.
of the woods and he actually saw Gunner from a distance. And they made eye contact,
Yeah.
right? And Gunner would not even go to him. That's what I'm talking about, this fight or flight mode.
Mhm.
But he saw him pick up something off the ground, something black, and then take off more towards the direction where I
Right.
was. So Dustin gets to that. Guess what it was that he had picked up because he dropped it? It was my pants that I'd left out. So he was carrying my pants around, looking for me,
Yeah.
really. So I'm sitting there. I didn't know my husband had seen him like that, but all of a sudden, just like bound, I think I'm dreaming.
Mhm.
Okay, the whole experience was like a real life nightmare. With like when you wake up from a nightmare and you're like, oh, thank goodness I didn't. That's how I described that week. But the moment I looked up and saw a red head come up over the hill through the woods, it was like a euphoric dream, really.
Yeah.
So what do? I can't look at him, right? So I have to look away, and I see out of the peripheral vision him getting closer and closer, and I have a hot dog in my other hand, and sure enough, he comes right up to me. I stick the hot
Mhm.
dog in his mouth, put the leash around his neck, and I just fell. I just fell like almost fainted, really. So I had these strangers that were there were started videoing and have all this on video. They started a live video of him. So people who had been searching and looking for
Mhm.
updates hopped on and see this live video thinking, what is that? That's Gunner. Um, when I say I lost it, I don't care how I looked or what I sounded like, but what did I say I was going to do? Give God all the glory. So immediately I stood up and I said, God hears your prayers. And if you pray believing and
Mhm.
he is good. And I don't know what all else I said, but I was bawling, crying, boohooing. I couldn't believe Gunner was right before me without a scratch on him. He did look skinny to me. He actually only lost 3 pounds. My husband and I combined in these 6 days lost 18.
That's
If that
what
tells
stress
you
will do, right? Thank goodness Gunnar came home. He found you, that you had
yes.
the patience and the faith to wait and to keep singing and to keep searching every single day. I can't imagine how it would feel when you see his head poke out from the brush and you're trying not to make eye contact, you're trying to stay calm, but you just so want to wrap him up in a huge hug and bring him there. Yeah,
Yeah,
I think
that's the best way to show it. 'Cause my son then pulled up. He didn't even know we had found him,
yes.
Roman, and he pulled up, and Gunnar ran to him and tackled him down. And when you talk about happy tears at the end of this, such grief just turned into the maybe one of the most joyful moments of my life. Definitely, I think I
Mhm.
told someone it's yes, my children having them, but this is different. It'll be the top 5 of my life. I can guarantee you that. Um, it was amazing. And then after that, just the community coming over and wanting to meet Gunner, and I've had radio stations that have aired the story all day on the podcast, and it's just what a legacy. Chance and Remington's death was definitely not in vain, and to have a legacy like that, it just shows that God did all this was for a reason. So
Mhm.
we do grieve Chance and Remington, but we know that, well, Chance died doing exactly what he loved doing, protecting and
Mhm.
and chasing and doing his thing. And they probably didn't feel a thing, being hit. So one other piece of the story that's kind of been the crazy miracle through it all as well is I told you how we found Chance and how we rescued him, how he was dumped as a puppy. Well, my son Roman said on
Mhm.
Tuesday, right? This happened Monday. On Tuesday, he said, "Mommy, I was sitting on the couch praying, and I said, God, is Gunner alive? Show me a sign." He's never, that I know,
Mhm.
done this, but he said, "I asked for God to show me a sign, and the lamp that was next that was out started flickering and came on." He said, "So I really think Gunner is alive." And then shortly after that, he said, "When it's time to get another dog, I want to save." He said, "Save or rescue, save a dog in honor of Chance." Because
Mhm.
everyone knows I love golden retrievers, and
Yes.
Chance was just how that happened was amazing. But I said, absolutely, absolutely, when the time is right.
Mhm.
At that moment, my husband walked in from the garage, and he had been on the phone with his best friend who had just called him. His best friend said, "You're not going to believe what just happened. It's freezing tonight,
Mhm.
And I was getting something out of my car, and I feel something tap my leg, and I look down, and it's this puppy. And you can tell it's not been taken care of. What do I
Mhm.
do?" He was asking for advice. So he wasn't, she was not microchipped. He checked.
Mhm.
She sure Long story short, Roman said, "I want her." He felt that we were supposed to have her.
Mhm.
She, in essence, kind of saved his heart as he saved her. Sure enough, she had hookworm just like Chance did. She was not well taken care of. We did check and make sure no one was,
Yes.
she wasn't on. We checked shelters and vets, but we named her Halo, means circle of light. And now we are a family of three dogs. Again, we still have
Mhm.
Coda and Halo and Remington. I'm sorry, and Gunner. And it's just been it's ended up being a very beautiful story. Yeah, there's Halo right there.
And I think you said you
We don't know what all
I
we don't know what kind of mutt she is, but Chance was, we sent off his wisdom panel, and he was a lot of different things, and we think she will be as well. But man, God, the way God works is, it's
Mhm.
amazing when you open your mind to it and just say, "Okay, God, use me." And and it's just, I don't know, leaves me speechless.
And I think the story of how she got her name, that you were going through a variety of different names. I think I had seen you post, and you went with Halo. Why did you choose Halo?
Yeah, so we were sitting there that night when we brought her home, and no one even knew we got her, obviously, because we're searching for
Mhm.
Gunner. And in fact, we didn't even take her to the vet. My sister had to. We didn't have
Yeah.
time, right? We're searching for Gunner. But my husband looked down. My Roman had said the name Blessing. Kingston, my other son, said Miracle, and then my husband looked down, or I said Faith, because we've lost a daughter who's
Yes.
in heaven. Her name's Kaya Faith, and that's Roman's twin sister. But my husband looked down and said, "She has a white ring of fur around her neck. I want to name her Halo." And then we find out the meaning of Halo is circle of light. And
Mhm.
if you look up the lyrics, even of the song Halo, I think Beyonce sings it. It's just, she's meant to be ours. And like I said, she saved us and we saved her. And she's helped save in Gunner's broken heart too.
Yes. And so Gunner, he came home, and I think I have some pictures of Gunner got some special treatment, I think, after he arrived at home. Let me read. I think this was my favorite post to see when I opened up Facebook. I think I was at a volleyball tournament, and I opened it up and I was like, "They found him." And people are like, "Who are you talking about?" I was like, "They found him." We were driving. We were in the car. I'm like, "They found him." And my husband's like,
Yes, my the stories of people finding out. My friend went to the
yeah.
donut shop. Sure enough, his flyer was there, and she told the owner, "Hey, they found him right now." And the owner started bawling, crying, saying, "Oh, it's just amazing."
I think my husband was like, What are you talking about?" I was like, "Gunner's home. It's 6 days and he's home and he's okay." And so I had just grabbed a couple of these photos. These ones just make me smile because he's there, you've got him, you're never letting him go,
Oh,
and I think just the and you said he came out with he was holding your pants, so he had found the kennel that you had left for him with everything there that reminded him that you were out there looking for him the entire time. These ones
And he had eaten those steak fajitas that, just to show you that the kindness from Arkansas, they DoorDashed it,
yes,
right? Well, he ate. That was probably his first food that he had in 6 days. So it's just all tied in together.
I love this one. It looks like he's
Oh,
he's smiling there.
yeah. It just, these never get old. Oh, we got him on Christmas morning 3 years ago, and
Mhm,
the thought, like, we just look down and we can't believe he's here and safe. But the thought of, if he hadn't have come home, and Christmas is about to be here, oh, it would just be so tragic. And then now I want to help other people.
yes.
There's actually someone in South Carolina right now, similar story, searching, and it's been 15 days. Her other dog she found deceased as well, and so I'm trying to help now with
Mhm.
the advice I've gotten, trying to help her find that dog's name's Mallow. So if we pray for Mallow to come home, but
Yes.
I just want all now that I know what it feels like. I want all the missing dogs, yes, to come home.
Yes, somebody's waiting for them, right? There's somebody
Yeah.
waiting there for them. I love the Christmas photos. I think that was to see him home and he's okay, and then he's got his amazing. He's very photogenic. Christmas photos,
Yeah,
and then
just
I loved how the you
yeah. Santa even got on the floor with them. He's like, I'm laying down with you.
that it was perfect. It looks like it was. They look like magazine photos that Gunnar could definitely be in a magazine.
Oh, he even had carolers that were also strangers, a group of 30 Christmas carolers. The night he was home, we get the doorbell
Mhm.
rings, and he says, "We're looking for Gunner." And about 30 people. He got his own show, and he just laid there and watched it. It was
And you had
amazing.
him, I think, pictures of him watching Homeward Bound, and he was watching the TV, and
Oh
yes, just
yeah,
just to see
yeah,
him home. And look, I think I pulled a couple others. So I love that the groomer came over to the house, the vet clinic, the people were
yes.
excited to see him there.
Oh, it was a reunion everywhere. And then even the kindness of the cremation company, when I called, I had no idea that was going to be the price that was quoted. But then they said, wait a second, I've heard this story. This is Gunner. And she's like, let me call you back. And the name of the company is Peaceful Pets. But she called back and bawling, crying on the phone saying, I just talked to the owner and we want to do this completely free of charge. We want to provide you with both of their urns, do this completely free of charge. We're talking around $1,000 or more. Um, my son wants to have his ashes on a necklace. They wouldn't accept any payment for that. They've been angels and through all this. It's just
Mhm.
like not ending. It's
And I
amazing.
think in your radio broadcast, you talked about the heroes are everywhere, the people that came out to help, the company, the people who had drones, all of just the police department. And what gets me, I think, every time, the true emotion when he comes out, and when I'll include the video in the podcast if that's okay with you, and just that
Yeah.
just the sheer joy and relief and that authentic emotion that he's home and that never giving up, that he came home. And I think you can just feel that raw emotion in it. And
Yeah. In the video, I said, is this really happening?
yeah.
Like, I had to keep like asking myself, is this real?
Yes, yeah, and it makes me cry every single time I watch it because I'm like, he came home. He was just meant to come home. He's definitely has more things to do in life, and a greater purpose. He's united people across the country. I love that you said brought people together in your own community. And it just gets me every time that you had strangers that were out for days. For those of you listening to the audio only podcast, the next few minutes feature video shared from the moment that Gunnar returned home, from the moment that he found his family. Thank you to Kacey for letting us share these next few moments.
We got him!
Is this really happening? Oh, I love you so much. Oh my God. Oh my God. Come here. Oh my goodness. I know it. I know it. Woo!
had lots of amazing things arrive in the mail. So you had these beautiful
Oh,
ornaments.
yes. Ornaments and wind chimes saying every time this wind chime rings, it plays this amazing grace down undertones.
Oh,
But that, just imagine that Chance and Remington, and it's in the backyard. And yes, that's it. It is the most beautiful wind chimes ever. It is so peaceful. It's absolutely amazing. All of this, my friend told me this. She said, Casey, there's a movie, A Dog Story, but dog backwards is God. She's like, this is a God
mhm.
story. This is God had his hand in all of this. I'm just so very thankful for for. I mean, obviously, I wouldn't have wanted this to happen to Chance and Remington, but I am still thankful for his plan, and he is good. He's good all the time. So
And I think that's you had a post about this gentleman here. I think he,
he's a hero, absolutely. Chad Arrington. I went to school with him back in the day, but he on his own, his wife told me that he's never missed a hunting trip ever. And he looked up and he said, I'm gonna find Gunner. And he got it. He said, Casey, when I set my mind to something, he did this on his own, and he searched for 3 days, and he was the one Saturday morning that said, Casey, I just saw him. He's here. We're gonna get him. Let's go. And little Chad had tears streaming down his face when we found him, and he's actually going to come over Wednesday with his family and get to actually meet
nice.
Gunner, really, and he is a true hero. Yes,
It brings out the good in people.
they were just cuddling outside. I just took another picture of them. They're really 100%. Gunner was grieving when he
Mhm.
came home. It's almost like he's trying to tell us what
Yes.
happened. He didn't know we
Yes.
know. It's like he was trying to tell us. I can't describe it, but he uh, he is doing better each day, and he is a different dog. But like I said, yeah, Halo. We're supposed to save each other with Halo, absolutely. But I think the live video the last time I checked has over 30,000 views of. It's just crazy. I think the Mansfield Post had 130 people share it.
Mhm.
It didn't even say on the post to share it, but definitely the entire city of Mansfield knew about Gunner.
Well, I mean,
So
he had his own
it
carolers,
was.
he has people stopping by. I love this picture of him in front of the fire, just hanging out with you, that he's home with the
Oh,
tree in the
sprawled out.
background.
Life is
Christmas
good.
miracle that he
Yeah.
came home, because I know I was following the story all the way here from in Saskatchewan, watching and checking anytime I could. I'm like, please let there be a post that says something good is happening. The world just needs something good. And I think the story of Chance
Yeah.
and Remington bringing together a community and the search for Gunner uniting everyone in that common goal to we can do this, we can find him, he is out there, and that faith, hope, and love that brought the community together. I think that is a Christmas story and a Christmas miracle because he came
It
home.
really is. And the fact that yes, and that the way he came home, how he just literally came out to me from the wilderness, after, how many hours it is 100. I figured it was 130 hours and 7,800 minutes.
Mhm.
He, I just can't fathom it. He was definitely protected the whole time. So,
Yes.
so thank you. Yeah, thank you for letting me share it. I don't really usually like to talk and do things, but it's like, no, God, I am going to share this story. Absolutely. When we went through what I did with my daughter, I definitely wrote a blog post,
Mhm.
and I will do
Yeah.
that with this as well. I'm thinking about. I might need to write a book about this one.
Yes, I think
Um,
there is definitely a story in here, and I think that's what drew me in, and that you kept us all updated as we were going, which I think just united the power of faith and the connection of people for that common good. That I mean, you had DoorDash working for you with the treats for him to bring him home, and all of the people that came to support along that way. I think what the world needs right now is that kindness. And that's why I wanted to reach out to you and thank you for sharing your story with us. It is a true,
absolutely.
just like I said, it gets me every single time because as an animal lover, you never want that to happen. And when you found the two of them, and I just thought Gunner has to be okay. And we were all thinking about him. And I am so thankful and grateful that he came home to your family. It's an amazing story. So thank you for letting me share this. And I think it's a great example for Mind Game because it was all about the mindset. You believe from the outset that you needed to find Gunner. I saw you post that you just needed to know and to make sure he
Answers I
was
needed
he
to
was
know.
okay one way or the other. And when you couldn't find him and you kept going, because there was a long stretch of days without any sightings. And I admire the courage and the energy that took to keep getting up every day and checking the trail cams and continuing to share that story. And sharing that story made a huge difference in the police department, sharing that story, and it just connected outward and pulled more people together. And I think that's the legacy of Chance and Remington, is bringing people together. I think there's definitely a movie in there. I think there's a book in there, the story of those however many 100 and so many hours that passed on those days, and bringing everyone home for Christmas.
You know the song Angels Among Us. Everyone's
Yes.
heard that, right? But that played through my all week long. They come to you and me in our darkest hours to show us how to live, teach us how to give, to guide us with the light of love. And that's what God does. God doesn't promise days without pain, laughter without sorrow, nor sun without rain, but he does promise strength for the day, laughter for the tears, and light for the way. Those are three promises that we have. So in the midst of any storm. And then of course the whole halo circle of light. I just thought that light connection, it's just amazing. God is so good. So thank you for letting me share it.
Kacey, I always admire your vulnerability to share your journey, the fitness journey, that you're so positive and uplifting for everybody else. I think that just, you bring a really positive energy to social media, and I appreciate that you do that, because the world needs that. And even through,
Well, I appreciate you as well.
thank you. And you've been through a lot, and you had a very intense week. And through that, you stayed positive. You kept looking for the blessings inside of the challenges, the blessings through the storm. You kept connecting people and just sharing that good. And I think because you did that brought everyone together. So thank you.
Well, thank you so much.
Wow. What an absolutely amazing story. Here's to the legacy of Chance and Remington, the addition of Halo, and the amazing return of Gunner after 6 days of searching. Our hearts go out to the Pierson family for all that they have experienced, for sharing their story and reminding us that our world truly is filled with faith, hope, and kindness, and a whole lot of love that leaves paw prints on our hearts, and we are never the same. Thank you to the Pierson family for sharing their story with us. Here's your Mind Game Episode 4 challenge. Share this episode and the part of the story that resonated most with you. Hashtag it, level up your life. Thank you for choosing to listen to Mind Game, a podcast to level up your life. We hope that you've enjoyed the insights, inspiration, and habits shared in this episode. Your support is a game changer, and we are incredibly grateful to be on this journey with such an amazing community of listeners. If you have any wonders, questions, or suggestions about this or future episodes, we'd love to hear from you. Connect with us on social media and share your feedback. Remember, you can catch all of our episodes on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and YouTube. Make sure to subscribe, rate, and leave a review. It helps us bring valuable content to you, our listeners. Don't want to miss the next episode? Join our Facebook group and email list and get ahead of the game. Until next time, remember to mind the game so that you can get out of your own way and level up your life.